All right, day 3 of review for your final. Starting with triangles, or continuing on with triangles, as I should say. What do we know all angles in a triangle add up to? 180. So, if we have a missing angle, how do I find it?
So add them up, subtract from 33. Or 100.
There you go. Add them up, subtract from 180. 33 plus 81 is 114. Yeah. And then take that number, subtract from 180, and you get 66. What's the difference between triangles and quadrilaterals?
Quadrilaterals are 360.
Yep. Triangles are 180, quadrilaterals are 360. On 45, does it change when we have an x in there? No, it stays the same. You're just solving for x. So we know all of these add up to 180. What's that little box in there? 90. Don't forget that. How do I set this up to solve for x?
Just add them all together. 90 equals x plus 61.
Well, we know they all add up to 180.
40 plus 90 plus x plus 61 equals 40.
There you go. You want to add all of them together and equal it to 180 degrees. Okay, what's my next step here? What do I have to be careful with? What do I want to do next?
Add like terms.
Yep, combine like terms. I have 40 plus 90 plus 61, which is
191.
191. And then I have x. Yep, subtract 191 on both sides. So we get x equals negative 11. Is it okay to get negative answers for x?
Yeah.
Yes. Any questions on those first 4?
No. 40 doesn't.
Okay.
Wait, you said x
47.
Okay, moving on to 47. We have 2 inner angles of the triangle compared to an outside angle. Do we remember what we need to do? The 2 angles, let's go to 48 real quick. The 2 angles on the inside add up to give us the angle on the outside. So we need to add them on 48. 50 plus 34 is 84. So on 47, back up a little bit, I need to subtract since I'm missing an inside angle. 60 minus 30 equals 30. Coming down to 49 through 52, looking at 49, look at the information that it gives you. What are those red markings that they give us? What do those mean?
angles.
The angles, they're the same. Angles are congruent. What can we assume about those 2 sides then if those 2 base angles are congruent?
Same side.
Yep, you can assume that these 2 are the same. What kind of triangle is that?
Scaling.
Equilateral, isosceles, or scalene?
Scaling.
Has 2 sides congruent. This would be isosceles, yep. So, what did you say we have to do to the sides? Yep, since they're the same, remember if I say they're the same, we're going to equal them to each other.
X equals 10.
What do I do here?
Minus 21.
Subtract 21.
That gives you negative 9.
So x equals negative 9. Again, is it okay to get negative answers for x?
Yes.
Yes. How could you check if you did that correctly? Yep, I could plug that back into x to see if I got 12, which we would. Okay. Looking at 51, what information does it give us? Red markings.
All the sides are the same.
It tells us all sides are the same. If all sides are the same, what can we assume about the angles?
All angles.
All angles are the same. So if one's 60, the other is 60.
53.
Any questions on this page?
Oh, this is just the pattern.
All right. What information does it give us on 52?
36.
It gives us the 33, and it gives us the sides are the same. If it gives us the sides are the same, that's an isosceles triangle. Where's...
33 plus 33 equals 66.
Right.
180 minus 60.
Hang on.
Gives you 114.
33, this angle right here is the same as this angle over here. So this angle right here would be 33. And then how do you find a missing angle in a triangle?
Plus 66. 180 minus 66, 114.
Yep. Add these 2 together. You get 66. And then take that number minus... or subtract that from 180, and we get 114.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay. Looking at the next page, What kind of triangles do we see?
Right.
Right triangles. So to solve these, what are we going to use?
Pythagorean theorem.
Pythagorean theorem. Write that down at the top. What is the Pythagorean theorem?
A squared plus b squared equals c squared.
So this would be 12.
So a squared plus b squared equals c squared.
Gives me one.
Okay. So we are going to use a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Let's label some things real quick. What is c always?
Hypotenuse.
Hypotenuse or the longest side? So then what are a and b?
The sides. The shorter side.
The
Leg.
legs. So we are going to use this formula on 53. Now we want to circle our longest side. Remember, longest side is our hypotenuse. Where's the hypotenuse always at?
Across from the square.
Across from the 90. So our longest side is
X.
x. And then underline your other two sides. Why do we underline and circle?
So you know which one is which.
So you know which one is which and where they both go. The two that you underline, those go together on the same side. So we need to do 12 squared plus 5 squared. Very important that you square all of them. And then our hypotenuse is x squared. Now we just need to solve for x. What's 12 squared?
24.
144.
Remember, what does squared mean?
Times itself.
Taking that number times itself. And what's 5 squared? 25
Gives you 169.
equals x squared. Yep, combine like terms. If you add these together, you get 169 equals x squared. From here, how do you get x by itself?
Yeah,
Ooh,
square
take that
root.
square. Square it.
Take the square root of that.
So 13.
Take the square root of that. So x equals 13. You're always going to end up taking the square root.
Can we do number 50?
Okay, on 54, remember, circle your longest side. What's my longest side? How do you know?
It's opposite.
Across from the.
Cross from the 90. And then what do I do with the other two sides?
Square them.
Underline them.
And wouldn't it just be the same thing except you divide? divide
Now you set it up. What is my a squared? 6 squared, b squared?
Does it matter?
Nope, it does not matter.
Okay.
Equals 10 squared. The only thing that matters is that your longest side or your hypotenuse is on the side by itself.
Oh.
So 6 squared is 36 plus x squared equals 10 squared,
Minus 3.
100.
Minus
What would my next step be?
Minus 36.
Yep, we're trying to get x by itself. So we have x squared equals 64. Still, our last step is what?
Square root.
Taking the square root. So we have x equals 8.
Okay, that makes sense.
I
Okay.
just kind of did mine a different way, but I'm glad it's
So we are still going to use the Pythagorean theorem on 55 and 56, but we're trying to decide if it's acute, obtuse, or right. Do we remember what we have to do a little bit differently, or how we set it up?
Take a piece of paper up against the corner and see if it's.
Nope.
Okay.
You gotta see if they.
What's different from this? How would I set it up? We're going to always, c squared is always going to be on the left side now. And I'll explain why again. So if c squared equals a squared plus b squared, you're going to want to write this down. If it's equal to, that is a right triangle. If c squared is less than a squared plus b squared,
So this one's going to be the biggest number equals
That
the other
is-
numbers?
acute. If it's less than, it's acute. C squared is greater than a squared plus b squared. That's going to be obtuse. Now, let me explain the reason c squared is on the left side now. So if c squared equals a squared plus b squared, that's a perfect right triangle if it's equal to. If it's less than, what do you think of when you hear less than? Do you think of obtuse or acute? Acute.
It's less than 90.
If you flipped it, it would be opposite of what you would think. So that's why we want c squared to always be on the left side. Okay? So, setting it up, you cannot, does it look like a right triangle just looking at it?
Yeah.
Kind of does, right? But you cannot assume. So on 55, let's circle our biggest side. What is it? 15 is our biggest side. Underline your other ones. How do I set this up?
15 squared.
Yep, C is on your other side.
12
Don't put
squared.
equals. Put a question mark. Yep. Then we have
12
11 squared.
Plus 11 squared.
Yep, order doesn't matter. Is everyone okay with how I set this up right here? C squared is on our left side now.
Why the question mark?
Solving, 15 squared is 225. What's 11 squared?
121.
121. 12 squared? 144. We keep simplifying each side until we're down to one number. The left side, we have 225. What do I get on the right side?
169. Wait, 265.
265.
It's a cube.
So 225 and 265, what sign needs to go in between?
A cube less than.
Less than, because 225 is less than 265, so we have a less than symbol. Match it with the notes that we did over here. So we would
Can
put
you scroll over to that?
acute.
Jordan's got to write it.
57. Easy. We're looking for easy right here. I'm going to put an X there. And it gives us ZI. ZI is 6.3. This is when we had the long side and the short side equations.
Oh no.
So long side, let me come over here. Long side equals, which one's the long side, X or 6.3? X. What portion of the whole does it look like? Is it half of the whole? What is it? What's it look like? Close.
It's like 2/3.
2/3, remember? So long side is 2/3 of the whole. W stands for the whole. Okay? Short side, if the long side is 2/3, what's the short side?
1/3.
1/3 of the whole. Okay? Now we want to use those two equations. What does it give us? Which one does it give us? It gives us the short side, so we want to use the short side equation.
Against those
So we're going to plug in what we know. So short side, what is our short side?
6.3.
So I'm going to plug in 6.3 equals, what's the rest of that equation, the short side equation?
2/3? Or 1/1?
1/3 times W. We don't know what W is.
You times by 3.
We're gonna, will W just be X?
You can put X instead of W, yep.
So we do
So we want to get rid of that fraction
times 1?
Times
Times
3.
by the bottom, yep. Multiply by that bottom number. So 6.3 times 3 is
18.9.
18.9 equals
18.9.
W.
Equals W.
But what, is that our answer?
No.
No.
No, why not?
It's the whole.
That's the
Then you
whole
have to
thing,
minus,
Divide by 2.
6.3.
not divide by 2.
Minus 6.3.
Yep. We want to take the whole thing minus the part that we have to get our answer. So we have 18.9 minus 6.3 to give us
12.6.
12.6.
I have a question for 58.
So use those two equations
Wait.
to help you figure that out.
DL of DK is 8. DL D.
Okay, moving down to the last ones I'm going to go over today. We want to label the angles from smallest to largest from given the sides. So, do you remember the relationship between sides and angles? Which ones match up?
None.
13, would we agree 13 is our smallest side?
Yes.
Okay, 13 is our smallest side. Which angle goes with 13? It's the one across, right? We cut across the triangle for our matching angle.
X.
So X is our smallest angle. What's our next biggest side?
17.
17, which goes with
W.
W.
V.
And then 18 is our next biggest side, and we go with
V.
V. So smallest to largest goes that way. The relationship cuts across the triangle. Okay. If it says we want to find DL, I'm going to put an X where I want to find it. Big thing is label, so we can see it. And then DK is 8.
X equals 8.
Yep. This line right here will split those two in half. So if one side's 8, the other side is 8.
That's what I was digging in.
Yep.